The capital of the country is Washington, D.C., a city of grandeur, power, and politics, but another empire was emerging in the background. Gunfire erupted in the streets, homes were turned into battlegrounds, and a perilous new monarch was assuming power. What's his name? Rayful Edmond III, a young man who would completely upend the city just out of his teens. By the middle of the 1980s, he was in charge of the biggest cocaine network in Washington, D.C., earning millions each week while wreaking havoc and terror in his wake. To frighten their kids, parents murmured his name. Police officers were afraid to walk certain streets by themselves, and competitors just vanished. How did one teenager build a criminal empire that terrorized an entire city? How did he escape capture for years while ruling with power, money, and murder? And most importantly, what finally brought him down? Stay with me, because the story of Rayful Edmond III is shocking, terrifying, and more unbelievable than fiction. Early life, the beginning of a dangerous mind. Rayful Edmond III was born in 1964 in Washington, D.C. He grew up in a poor neighborhood where crime was part of everyday life. For many kids, survival was the only goal. Schools were weak, jobs were limited, and the streets offered quick money. Rayful was not the strongest, but he was smart. He watched people carefully. He learned fast. As a teenager, he didn't want a normal life. He wanted power. At a young age, he started selling small amounts of drugs. Nothing big at first, but even then, people noticed something different about him. He was calm, confident, and always thinking ahead. While others wasted money, Rayful saved and planned. Then came the moment that changed everything, the arrival of crack cocaine in the early 1980s. It spread fast, cheap, and addictive. While most people saw danger, Rayful saw opportunity. Building the empire from street dealer to kingpin, Rayful didn't stay small for long. He knew that to become powerful, he needed a steady supply of cocaine. That's when he made one of the smartest and most dangerous moves of his life. He connected with Colombian drug suppliers. This gave him access to large amounts of cocaine at a low price. Now, he wasn't just a dealer, he was a supplier. But what made Rayful truly dangerous was how he organized his business. He didn't run it like a street gang, he ran it like a company. He recruited young men from his neighborhood, gave them roles, and controlled entire areas of the city. Everyone had a job. Everyone followed rules. If someone made money, Rayful got his share. If someone disobeyed, there were serious consequences. He used secret phone systems, trusted lieutenants, and strict control to keep everything running smoothly. Soon, his network spread across Washington, D.C. It was no longer just a hustle, it was an empire. Peak of power, the city under his control. At the height of his power, Rayful Edmond III was making millions of dollars every single week. Imagine that a young man from the streets, now controlling one of the biggest drug operations in the country. Cocaine flooded the city. Corners, streets, and neighborhoods all became part of his system. Rayful lived like a superstar. Expensive cars, designer clothes, and luxury lifestyle. He threw parties, spent money freely, and showed the world his success. But while he enjoyed wealth, the city around him was breaking apart. Crime rates exploded, violence increased, families were destroyed. What made it even more shocking was his age. He was still very young, yet he controlled people much older than him. His name alone was enough to scare people. In many neighborhoods, Rayful wasn't just a dealer, he was the law. Violence and fear, the dark side of the empire. However, this kind of power is not without terror. As much as money, violence was the foundation of Rayful's empire. He purged anyone who attempted to compete with him. A traitor would vanish if they attempted to deceive him. His group controlled the streets by instilling fear. There were tales of cruel punishments, unexpected murders, and overnight disappearances. Most of the rival gangs that attempted to confront him were unsuccessful. He had too much control and too much reach. Even common people were terrified. Children were cautioned by their parents to avoid specific streets. The police also struggled. Some areas became so dangerous that officers hesitated to enter. The city was losing control, and Rayful's power kept growing. It felt like nothing could stop him. The downfall begins pressure from the law. But no empire lasts forever. As the violence increased, the government had no choice but to act. Federal agencies like the DEA began watching Rayful closely. They knew he was the key figure behind the chaos in D.C. Instead of attacking him directly, they started building a case slowly. They followed his money, tracked his people, and collected evidence piece by piece. Some of his closest associates were arrested. Under pressure, a few started talking. Secrets that were once hidden began to come out. For the first time, cracks started to appear in Rayful's empire. The system that once seemed perfect was now under stress. And slowly, everything began to fall apart. Arrest and trial, the fall of a king. In 1989, the moment finally came. Rayful Edmond III was arrested. It shocked the entire city. The man who once ruled the streets was now in handcuffs. But this was just the beginning. His trial became one of the biggest in the country. The charges were massive drug trafficking, conspiracy, and links to multiple murders. Witnesses came forward. Evidence was presented. The same system he built so carefully was now being used against him. People watched closely. Some were relieved. Others were still afraid. But one thing was clear: Rayful's time at the top was over. In the end, he was sentenced to life in prison. A man who once had everything now had nothing but time. Legacy: a city changed forever. Even after his arrest, the impact of Rayful Edmond III did not disappear. Washington, D.C. was deeply affected. The crack epidemic had already done its damage. Crime, addiction, and broken families remained long after he was gone. His story became a warning how fast power can rise and how dangerous it can become. Law enforcement also changed their strategies because of cases like his. They learned to target entire networks, not just individuals. Today, his name is still remembered. For some, he was a symbol of power. For others, he was a symbol of destruction. But no one can deny one thing: Rayful Edmond III changed Washington, D.C. forever. But here's something to think about. If someone like Rayful could rise from nothing and control an entire city back then, could it happen again today? Or has the world changed too much? Let me know what you think. And if you want more real stories like this, dark, powerful, and shocking, don't forget to like and subscribe, because the next story might be even more unbelievable.